What's good, everybody? Travysty here, and today we are going to be looking at a topic that I've been asked in the comment section to kind of go through. So we're going to be we're going to make this a longer series than most because this is a topic that has a lot to talk about. But what we're going to end up doing today is we're going to end up giving a basic tutorial on how to build a balanced team. This is just an intro to it. There's a bunch of different steps that you can take. Don't mind the arteria that's on the screen, but we're going to take some steps to try and make it so you guys would be able to see that we have a balanced team here. So first off, I'll actually just go ahead and delete that arteria because you have no Pokemon. But we're going to make a UU team here, and we're going to do our very best to make it balanced. Now, when you're looking at balance, there's a lot of different factors that you look at. One, mega evolutions do not mean balance. If you have one mega evolution, that does not mean you're balanced. However, most teams have mega Pokemon onto them because a mega Pokemon does fit a role to a huge extent. They can be a sweeper, a defensive wall. They have stats that are beyond what you would normally get out of a Pokemon. So a lot of people do use Mega Evolutions in their teams. However, it is not something that you have to do. Balance, to me, by my definition, when it comes down to Pokemon battling, is you have a support poke, a Pokemon that supports all the other Pokemon on your team. This could be a multitude of different things. You should have somebody who's able to get rid of hazards and set up hazards, if that is something. Set up screens, stuff like that. That's normally a job that you see a support Pokemon doing. Next thing you should have is you should have a really strong physical attacker and special attacker. There should not be, if you have a team full of nothing but physical attackers, you will get walled by things that wall physical attacks. And if that happens, your whole team can be stopped by one Pokemon, something that you do not want to have happen. So you want to be able to have as many checks as possible, and you also want to bring out as many different types as you can. You want to try and make sure you do not have a universal weakness inside of your team. That way, as I said, a Pokemon can't just universally just destroy you. With that being said, we're going to go through some of the different Pokemon that are in here today. And I'm just going to go through. I'm going to make a quick team. There's no prep with this. This is just showing you guys, hey, this is something that you guys should be, you guys would be able to do if you guys are looking to get into team building. First off, probably my favorite thing to whenever I'm going into team building is to have an idea of what poke I want to center my team around. This could be your main sweeper, Pokemon that you just want to use. Let's scroll through some of these. Let's see, who do we want to use today, guys? We want to use a... Let's just say we want to grab we're gonna definitely grab a UU Pokemon for this one. Another thing, just because you're building a team that's centered around just because you're building a UU team doesn't mean you can ignore RU, NU, BL, PU, all those other stuff. Yeah, those rankings do have a thing where it kind of matters in terms of what that Pokemon's sitting at the moment, but it's not something where it means that the Pokemon's bad. It just means it's not as good as other Pokemon in certain situations. With this team right here, we're just going to roll out with I guess we'll just roll out with let's just get a Mega Pidgeot. We're going to go that Mega Pidgeot route. Okay, why not? What we're going to run on this one, because it is a Mega Pidgeot, Mega Pidgeots are special attackers. We're definitely going to put its special attack and speed up there, and we're going to make this thing timid because we want it to outspeed everything. We're going to give it Heat Wave. We're going to give it Hurricane. And then there's a few other abilities you can look at. Because honestly, probably Mega Pidgeot's biggest weakness is the fact that it does not have a huge move pool, so to say. So it's one of those things where it's just like, alright, well, you pick this Pokemon, you know what this Pokemon is going to do. One thing that we can do, we'll get Roost and U-turn. And we're just going to give it a... Oh yeah, Naive Nature works on it as well. Just because we do have that U-turn. It's not going to stick in on special defensive pokes anyways. So, there's a Pidgeot right there. We got a Mega Pidgeot. We got a strong special attacker right there. It's fast. It does a lot. But it's too... It does not get any normal stab, which is its a big weakness, and its limited move pool. Heat Wave and Hurricane is all we're going to be able to do with this thing. We can Roost to get recovery, and we can use U-turn to keep momentum. With that being said, Mega Pidgeot is a flying type. So we definitely want something to spin, and we also want something to set up Stealth Rocks. So with that being said, no, let's not do that. I was thinking about putting Empoleon on the team, but nah, not today. Not today, Junior. Next thing that I like to do is build a Pokemon that supports off of those weaknesses. We do have a Tentacruel here that we could use. Do I want to use Tentacruel? I don't. So we're actually just going to go to what I tend to default to, because I think it's a really good Pokemon. We're going to go to our Donphan. And we are going to give it Earthquake. What else is it? Ice Shard. And I'm sorry if you guys hear my dogs. My window is open because it is a nice day outside today, actually. So trying to enjoy some of the sunshine while I'm inside of my room. Let's get it Rapid, and we're gonna give it Stealth Rocks. So now we have a Pokemon that's a lead for us. So we're just gonna go with the straight up Adamant thing because that's what I like to run anyways on it. So you can go Earthquake, Ice Shard. The reason why you go Earthquake is because it's stab, it bodies a lot of things. Ice Shard, priority, because Donphan's not that fast. And then Rapid Spin and Stealth Rock are really good. And then this Pokemon's physically very bulky. Like, it's 276 defense without any investment whatsoever in it. So it's one of those things where it's definitely worthwhile. And with that 372 attack, Earthquake's going to body everything. So, and with it having that much HP, it's definitely a hard poke to kill. Next, we've got a special attacking Mega Evolution that has fire and flying coverage, along with U-turn to keep offensive momentum. What I would suggest from this point is actually going into Alakazam, because Alakazam is one of those pokes that I feel like is just too good to not use in UU at the moment. We give it Focus Sash because that means it's automatically going to take 2 hits to be able to kill it, and because it's Magic Guard, it takes no damage from Stealth Rocks or anything like that, so that keeps this Focus Sash from being broken. What we're going to roll with on this is we are going to roll Dazzling Gleam. That's really good coverage against Dragon types. We are going to run Shadow Ball to handle the what was I going to say? Psychic types that are in the ladder and all this other stuff. Then we are going to run Energy Ball to handle water types that might try and switch in. And then we're going to run I don't know why didn't think of it. Psyshock. The reason why I choose Psyshock over Psychic does 10 more base damage. However, Psyshock does goes after defense over Spadef. So that means a lot of times people will try and switch in a especially defensive monster to deal with Alakazam. Psyshock is your way to get around that. So with that being said, we're going to, yeah, it's just things they have that one, right? It's going to be a timid nature. Net stuff. So what we're looking at right now is we've got Stuff Rock rapid spin support from Donphan. We've got Pidgeot, who's able to rock out with that Roost for recovery, U-turn to keep offensive momentum, and then we've got Heat Wave and Hurricane, which does a lot. So what else can we pick up today? Let's see, what else could we use? I feel like now is the time for us to look into getting a Pokemon that will be pretty defensive. There's a couple different options that you guys can go with on this one. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I would like to go into. What I'm thinking about going for is going to actually be a... Where is it? Let's just actually go for a Vaporeon. There's a little bit more special attack. We can make this Pokemon very supporting. What we're going to give it is we're going to give it leftovers. It's going to keep water absorb. Hydration doesn't really do anything for you unless you're running a rain team, and even then, water absorb is just really nice. We're going to give this Pokemon Scald. We're going to give it... What do we want to give this Pokemon? See, this Pokemon does have a decent special attack stab, so there's a lot of different options you can work with that. We're actually going to give it Wish. We're going to give it... there it is. Protect. Wish Protect, because that's just good recovery right there. And then we are going to rock out with Toxic. And we're going to just make this Pokemon really defensive. Well, do I want to make it defensive? I don't know. Why did I give it bold? I don't understand why I did that. Let's actually make this Pokemon... We can actually make it especially defensive, or... And as you can see when I'm going through this, you can see how different it would be. I'm actually going to go ahead and make this our specially defensive Mon. Nah, we'll keep it as it is, because it's got enough special defense as is. Defense is fine, actually, in this case. So this Pokemon's just all around really bulky. It's got a little bit on its attack side, does decent attack, and it's got a good amount of HP. This is going to be a support poke, actually, for us. It has defensive stats to bolster up it being able to come in on a lot of different pokes. Stats are decent. It does have Scald, which is stab, Scald, it does hurt. And then the fact that it has so much HP will help it out in the long run. Alright, with this being said, we have a Pidgeot, a Donphan, an Alakazam, and a Vaporeon. A physical attacker actually would not be that bad for us right now. So we're going to go straight to the epitome of damage. We're going to go into Darmanitan. We are actually going to go ahead and... We can Life Orb it, we can Choice Band it, we can Choice Scarf it. I'm going to say we're just going to Choice Scarf it. Give it Sheer Force. And we're going to give this Pokemon Earthquake. Flare Blitz, which is... you have to have Flare Blitz on this thing. It just OHKOs everything. We're going to give it... we're going to give it Superpower. And we're going to give it U-turn. The reason why we're giving this Darmanitan U-turn is this offensive momentum. For instance, this thing right here, Jolly Nature is Choice Scarf. It's going to outspeed a lot unless there's other Pokemon that are faster than it that are also Choice Scarf. It has 379 attack as is. This Pokemon will body just about everything it runs into. The reason why we choose the moveset that we have, Earthquake's just a really good move in general. It's 100 base damage with 100 accuracy. You really can't knock that. Flare Blitz, 120. It's gonna and it's stab, so it's gonna wreck a lot of things. Superpower is 120 base. It's fighting, yeah, but it does do a lot. And then U-turn, it allows you to keep offensive momentum. If you can predict a Pokemon to switch out from Darmanitan, then you're good to go. With that being said, what we're looking at now is we have a Pidgeot, we have a Donphan, we have an Alakazam, we have a Vaporeon, and we have a Darmanitan. So what's going to be our final Pokemon? Looking back at our team, we have a Mega Pidgeot that's a special attacker. It's really fast. It's going to be doing a lot of work for us if we get it in the right positions. Donphan, Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin support alongside with Earthquake and Ice Shard. This thing, because we did make it adamant nature, is going to be able to bop a lot of things that are going to come in. Alakazam is in here. He's got the Focus Sash, and he's got a lot of moves that he's able to go through, which he should be able to do a lot to a lot of different pokes. And then we've got Vaporeon, which is our defensive, special defensive. It's a wish passing support. And then we got Darmanitan, which is straight physical damage. So one thing I will say about our team is we do not have that much bulk. It's more towards the offensive side of things. So one thing that we can go for is we could go for a... let's see. We could either continue to build off of our advantage that we have right now, where we can continue to make it so our team has a lot more. We could add some bulk to our team, which is definitely something that'd be huge. So what we could do is we could run a... Snorlax. Let's just run the Snorlax on this team. We're going to run leftovers, and we're going to give it immunity. Why not? Immunity basically makes sure it can't get poisoned. So there's a lot that can go on with that. But this is definitely going to be a Spadef Pokemon. So what we'll do is we'll give this Pokemon... Do you want to make this Pokemon Resto Chesto? I don't feel like we need to. So what I'll do... Wait, Snorlax gets Outrage? Alright, well, I learned something new today, guys. What the hell? Snorlax gets Outrage. But what we will run... We definitely want to run some... This Pokemon as is going to be more defensive. So we're going to give it... do I want to do that? Yeah, and this would be a good special defensive wall right there. And then we'll give it a... We'll give it an Impish nature. The reason why Impish is just because it raises up its defense a good bit. To 213 over what it would have been. So I feel like that's just really good for Snorlax at this moment. Just because it's a little bit more bulk. Snorlax will automatically be our Spadef wall with 311. And with it having immunity, it's not going to get toxic or anything like that. So what we're going to do with it is we're going to make this thing... We are going to definitely make it rest. We're going to do a sleep talk. We're going to give it... Pokemon actually has a lot of moves. Like, Snorlax is powerful. But... I'm trying to figure out what exactly would be good on this, because I don't really use a Snorlax. I know people would like to run Curse on it, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to. We're going to give this Pokemon a Toxic. And we're going to give it Return. Why not? You know what? Let's make this Pokemon just straight up specially defensive, I think. It's good. I don't think the Rest Sleep Talk would be good, though, because I do have Toxic on it. So let me actually change that up real quick. Force Curse? What the hell? Alright, bye. And we'll just give it we'll give it Power Up Punch. Why not? We just gave it Power Up Punch because why not yellow? But yeah, this right here shows you guys a lot of things. Now let's review our team right quick, because we definitely have weaknesses that we should be aware of. We've got Pidgeot, who has Heat Wave, Hurricane, Roost, and U-Turn. That shows a lot of offense with the Heat Wave and Hurricane that we'll be able to put out. However, we do have a predictable moveset. Roost allows us to get recovery, and U-Turn allows us to keep momentum. So with that being said, Pidgeot's going to be a pivotal moment where we have to make... Predictions are really nice to make when you have a Pidgeot, because you got to figure out if they're going to stay in or that U-turn will be worth just using. That way you can get out and get into another Pokemon. Donphan is probably going to be our guaranteed lead, just because it does have Sturdy. Its leftovers is Earthquake, Ice Shard, Rapid Spin, Stealth Rocket, deals with Garvantula, which is something that people like to run in UU. And it's just all around a really good poke. Alakazam, he has that Focus Sash and Magic Guard, so we don't have to worry about him getting hit incoming on Stealth Routes, and he does a lot for the team. Vaporeon is more of our defensive, special defensive. It's all Wish Passion support. It's got that Toxic, Scald, so it's going to be able to do a good bit to some Pokemon. Then we have our Darmanitan. Our Darmanitan is actually rocking with that Earthquake, Flare Blitz, Superpower, and U-Turn. Choice Scarf, so it's going to outspeed a lot of things and it's going to do a lot of damage. And then we got Snorlax, our Spadef Wall, which is running Rest, Sleep Talk, Power Up Punch, and Return. This Pokemon but has the ability to become a problem. Pivotal things to look at: Donphan needs to not be wasted. Alakazam needs to be able to come in and take out pokes. Vaporeon's job is to try and make it so the team stays a bit more healthier than what it could be. So using Vaporeon is definitely going to be important. And then Darmanitan's job is to come in, bop something, while Snorlax is to come in and put an opponent in a bad situation. So with that being said, if we look at our weaknesses right now, we have 2 electric weaknesses, but an immunity. We have a ghost weakness, but a ghost immunity as well in Snorlax. We have our weaknesses are covered by every Pokemon on our team. Yeah, water, we have an immunity to water, and we have a weakness to water. I feel like the only thing that's on the team that we necessarily don't really care for is just grass, because we got 2 grass weaknesses. However, we have 2 grass resistances as well in Darmanitan and Pidgeot. So with that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys would like to see more, I will go more in depth on the different types of teams there are out there and the different things, terminologies and stuff like that. This will be an ongoing series, and I will be going through a lot more different pokes later on. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Travysty here. Peace. I am out of here.